What's up, St. Louis? This episode is proudly sponsored by our friends over at St. Louis Closet Company. Jennifer Williams and the entire team over there are absolutely amazing. Ever since we first met them a couple months back to run one of the biggest giveaways we've ever done on Instagram. They just gave us some new swag. We got some amazing new hoodies for fall weather. We're going to be giving it out to our guests. But more importantly, St. Louis Closet Company is woman-owned right here in St. Louis. And if you guys are looking to get organized and get your life back on track, stop by their showroom at 2626 South Big Bend, or give them a call at 314-781-9000. Thank you, St. Louis Closet Co. Love you guys.
If you want to hear about St. Louis, tune in to the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis. What to do in the loo on a late night, or maybe what to do on a date night. Yeah, Bucket List has you covered. They know what's going on. What's going on? They'll give you, hey, 18 different things to do, or 19 if you need one more to choose. Yeah, this city is a place we call home. A place we call home, yeah.
What's up, St. Louis? Welcome back to the STL Bucket List Show. I'm your host, Luke Farrell. Our co-host, Marissa, is out right now. Maternity leave's coming up. I'm going to do this episode solo, but we got a very special episode. Before we get into it, though, I got to shout out my friends over at Four Hands, the Regional Arts Commission, St. Louis Closet Company, Wine and Cheese Place. Without those local partners, we wouldn't be able to do this show each and every week for you guys. And we're lucky enough to have some snacks in the studio. So I want to welcome you guys to Gio and Olivia Falco.
Yes. How you guys doing today?
Hello.
Good. Welcome to the show. Have you guys been on a podcast together before?
No.
Oh, wow.
Not yet. Yeah.
So before we get into it, tell me about what I'm eating right now.
Yes. So this is a South African beef jerky. So we like to use jerky as the terminology that we like to relate the product to because we are in America. But this is actually air-dried biltong. So biltong is a South African word for jerky. The best way to describe it is 300-400 years ago, the Europeans came up to South Africa and they settled. They had to find ways when they had 2 to 3 weeks when they came from the Dutch to South Africa in the ships. They had to find ways to preserve meat, vegetables for weeks while they were going on these trips. And this was pretty much the way that they found out how to preserve meat. They air-dried the product. They literally added very simple ingredients of salt, pepper, coriander, and Bob's your uncle. We've got South African beef jerky, air-dried sticks, steak, and spicy steak.
That's amazing. So I want to read something from your guys' website, and then we can kind of get into the origin story of your guys' business. So Biltong Billy is run by a husband and wife, which is awesome because we're entrepreneurs as well, husband and wife team. It's the strongest team you can have because you can't give up and you can't quit because they're together, you know? So you guys are located in St. Louis. So Biltong was initially started with you, Gio, when one day you missed the taste of the food that you used to have in South Africa.
Yep.
So when you created your own machine by hand, hung and dried the meat, this was in your dorm room?
So so we have to kind of go back on this one.
Let's just go back to the story because this is
started this journey in Atlanta. I was actually at post-grad school at the time. And we just got married. I mean, so just to give you some story there as well.
Yeah,
background.
We had just gotten married. We had like a little 700 square foot apartment.
It was so tiny.
It was tiny.
and literally at the time, I was like, dude, I think that like I just genuinely miss the taste of back home. I love jerky, don't get me wrong. But with South African biltong, we don't have any sugars and no carbs. And because we air dry, there's a lot more protein per pack. We have about 32 grams of protein per pack. So that's quite a lot. So for the normal bag of jerky, I was like, man, I just don't have the adequate amount of protein that I need to be an athlete as well as being in school and just trying to get the nice creatines, the natural vitamins, the good protein, the no sugars, the no carbs. I was looking for that type of meat snack. And in the States, there is none. There actually really is no jerky with no sugars and carbs. And if you do, it's not the greatest tasting. So that's where I was like, man, I do miss a bit of taste of back home. I do want to feed the rugby boys that I was a part of. I was part of the rugby team, Life University. And that's when I decided to look at her and say, man, do you want to just open up a small little beef jerky business?
We did a little bit of research for, I guess you did, because, I mean, we were long distance in our marriage for a little bit, so I was actually still living here, but he did some research, went to Walmart, got a plastic tub and then 2 little small computer fans and started homemaking it. So that's how it started.
I would walk 2.8 miles to Walmart because at this point I was an international student.
Didn't have a car.
No car, no bank, like literally nothing. No social security number, like nothing. Because when you're a student in the States as an international, you're on an F1 visa. So you can only be a student. You can't go and work. You don't have a social number. You can't really do anything
So if something
else.
happens at school, you got to go home.
You got to go home. Like
yeah.
literally, you have to go home. So it's like, so at this point in time, I was like, man, like I got to walk 2.8 miles to go grab the meat. But I saw all the opportunity in the world because I looked at the market and I was like, dude, I don't see a meat snack with 0 sugar, 0 carbs, 32 grams of protein per pack. I just don't see that. So that's when we decided,
And
we
then,
got to start this, dude. We got to see what we can do. Yeah.
And then and he was on the rugby team. The rugby boys were like, what's this? We actually were like, why don't we start selling it since they always want it?
Yeah.
So we started selling it to
Started
them.
selling it to the rugby team. Rugby team turned into the Major League Rugby Stadium. The stadium turned into grocery stores. And that's when COVID hit. And then that's when we decided to relocate back to St. Louis.
Yep, came here.
That's incredible. So I want to learn a little bit about more of your guys' dynamics. So let me hear about how you guys met. And I'm going to ask Olivia here since her story might be different. Who shot their shot first? You know, how'd that happen? Like, what, you know, talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, no, we met in college. Really, we both went to Lindenwood, and we just had some mutual friends, and we really always just hit it off with each other. I literally all throughout college had a really big crush on him. So, and all my friends knew it. So I was always like, Gio, I always wanted to see Gio when I was out. So yeah, we just, we became,
That's it?
yeah,
No.
exactly.
That what we had 212 back then. I was 212.
I probably saw you guys there. I was
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed
That
it.
was cute.
Yeah.
Cute. Mr. Thirsty's the pickle shots though. Mr.
Yes,
Thirsty's.
the
Are you
pickle
kidding
shots
me?
there.
Or the $1 Thursdays. That was crazy. When you
You used to get drunk for like $8, and now
Yeah,
it costs like
100%.
$150.
I used to
get
bring 20
cocktails.
bucks and ball out. I used to like one shots, dude. I got
Thursday
it.
nights were big.
Yeah, it was huge.
Thirsty
Yeah.
Thursdays. Okay, sorry, I got off on a tangent. So you guys had connected. So were you dating in college then? Or
We
no?
were not actually. So we fell off, didn't communicate for a while, and then you messaged me or Snapchatted me or something after.
Yeah,
so
we were
he was
just-
living in Atlanta, and we reconnected that way, and somehow long distance
So he shot a
worked
shot
out.
then.
Yeah, he did.
To be honest, I
Thank
saw
you.
her. I always had
I
a
was
crush on her.
waiting.
She always had a crush on me.
Yeah.
But it was very strange. Like in college, I was so head focused on just like studies, and I'm an international student. I don't even know this country at this point in time. So my first couple of years, I was very head driven on just my sport that I was doing, rugby, school. And to be honest, I really did see her as just a great friend. I was like, she was just awesome. I was like, man, she's such a beautiful girl, super cool, super nice, outgoing. And I was like, one day, one day,
One day.
I'm going to connect with her again.
It's just
and-
funny he had to do it after he moved to a whole new state, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, I was-
awesome that it still somehow worked out.
It did, yeah. I mean, I was about 6 months to a year in Atlanta, and I was like, I remember I saw, I think it was like an Instagram story or something. I was like, man, I haven't chatted to this girl in so long, bro. I think it's been like a year and a half I haven't spoken to her. So I remember just like hitting you up,
Yeah.
and then I think it was like we took a call randomly that evening. I think I hit you up, and then that evening we took like a FaceTime call. I think that call lasted like 5 hours.
It did. Yeah.
It was a long call, and I was like, okay, like I don't talk to girls like
I
this much.
know,
I don't
yeah.
ever FaceTime someone for 5 hours. I knew right there and then I was like, man, something, even back at Lindenwood and then now in my post-grad
Yeah.
school, I'm like, dude, there's something here for me personally.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
5-hour FaceTime. That's serious.
Yep.
That's
Right.
serious.
Yeah.
To talk to anybody for 5 hours is crazy.
And then we dated for 30 days and then we got married.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we
That's what I was gonna
didn't
ask, 'cause
date
I'm
long.
trying to do the numbers
Yeah.
and I'm like, it seems like the marriage was escalated because you
It
got
was,
married
yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
The dating was really short. And then we eloped. Really, it was supposed to be like an actual Vegas elopement. That didn't happen.
Funny story,
yeah.
but so the whole thing, I'll give it real quick. So pretty much what happened is after 30 days of dating, we were like, okay, we love each other. We know this, we've known this, and like let's go get married. And I said to her, well, what's stopping us? Like, you know, what is stopping us? Like, why do we have to go do the elaborate weddings? Why do we have to, you know, get this whole big thing going? Why don't we just go and elope? Like, I've always low-key had it in the back of my mind.
I
If
know,
anybody in my
yeah.
family's gonna do it, bro, it's gonna be me.
I know, and that would be me as well.
Exactly. So, and then I think we were FaceTiming at this point. And then she was like, okay. And I was like, okay. And
So you didn't even see each other yet because you were just FaceTiming.
we
back
were
and
dating
forth.
and we were still in
We
long
were
distance.
seeing each other. We would
Like-
like fly out to each other. I would
Yeah.
drive over to him.
But we were still in long distance. And then I remember being like, man, I don't think this is going to work long distance. I think we should make the move, like go get married. and do what we want to do.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
That's like a true love story, and like
Yeah.
that's like and now that you're in business together, but like before then you didn't think that you would be in business
Right,
together. You were in
yeah.
post grad studying something. You were probably just graduated trying to find a job somewhere and doing something. So
Right.
how quickly into the journey? Because you guys were probably like your apartment probably smelled like beef all the time. Like no amount of
Consistently.
candles and scentsies can take that
Yeah.
smell
Right.
up.
And
So
just
like
to let people know, we have to air dry this product over 12 days.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
so
like, you can imagine the
it's
smell.
So you walk in
over
there and it's just
Yeah.
hanging.
Yes,
and it's
for
like
like
air drying
2
over 2
straight
weeks.
weeks.
So it's like the house stank, man. It was nuts.
the whole floor.
The
the
This
whole
whole
isn't
floor.
a frat.
Yeah,
house.
she used to say
I
it to
would
me all the
always
time.
say
man.
that.
I'm
Like,
like,
this is a apartment.
So what was the moment? Because like in every business, the second that something happens, everybody has that aha moment. And is it a lot of times it could be the first purchase or the first like positive review? Like was there an aha moment when like you made this for yourself, which most of the best businesses happen by accident.
Yeah.
You found a need, you wanted to taste like home, boom, now it's the American dream.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but was there a moment when you thought like, okay, this could actually be, because you were working other jobs. Like this isn't, it wasn't a full-time job off
no,
the
yeah.
bat.
Yeah.
So was there a moment where that aha moment, and can you touch on that moment when you thought that, okay, this could actually be a reality for us?
Yeah, no, it's very strange because I didn't necessarily come across it like that. Like it wasn't like, oh my word, I found this massive hole in the market and I'm just gonna go and exploit it. It wasn't something like that. It was genuinely like, hey, I miss a taster back home. Then let me do some research and see if I can buy some. Couldn't find it. Okay, let me do some research on wholesalers. Couldn't find it. Let me do on manufacturing. Couldn't find it. Okay, hold up. I know around the world, in Europe, South Africa, China, Australia, this product, Biltong, is huge. So how has it not hit the States? These were the questions I was asking myself in 2018 already. I was like, man, where is the Biltong, man? The air-dried meat snacks. There's just none in the States. It's like almost like the States missed it. Like they said, we need to mass-produce meat snacks because we've got 350 million people to feed. We need to like mass-produce it, get it out in 12 hours, get it in a bag, get it on the shelves. That's great. That's like most of your guys' products. Fantastic, right? I'm not bashing jerky. I think it's a great product. It's awesome. I love it. But where's the healthy option? Where's the option where I can go no sugars, no carbs, more protein? There is none. And most of your guys' retail commercial products all have that. Like Coke Zero, right? Sparkling water, normal water. You've got the Gatorades and then the non-sugar Gatorades. So where was the no sugar meat snacks? I didn't see it for 2 years. I was like, man, I think I'm onto something here. And then that's when I started producing it. And then that's when I was like, oh no, I need to start.
Yeah,
seeing
and
what's going
around
on,
that time as well, we kind of, because he was in school for chiropractic, actually.
Yeah, I was
which
becoming a
is-
doctor, dude.
Yeah,
Bro, like,
it's so different.
I was like
and-
deep into studying, like deep. Like I was
Yeah.
4
You were doing
years.
clinicals and stuff
like,
like
you know,
that?
all of
Yeah.
this, dude. Like I was like, I did an international business degree, got that from Lindenwood, had to do 6 pre-medical subjects to get into chiro school, did that, got into chiro school, year and a half in. That's when I said, nah.
Yeah, just through,
something.
and
Yeah.
I saw it through an outside perspective just as his wife, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't see a passion in chiropractic like I do in like Biltong and
Yeah, I mean,
in
I
this
was-
in
yeah.
starting this business.
Like staying
so,
up all night, being obsessed with it.
Dude, I was
Yeah,
sitting in the
but
back
in
of
a
the
really
class,
good way,
selling
though.
biltong in the back of the classrooms. I was making
Yeah.
$25
You were like
class,
a dealer.
dude.
You were like a
exactly.
dealer.
I was a
You're like,
meat
"Yo, I
dealer,
got something
bro.
in my book bag."
Drop out of school. Go.
I would sit in the back, ask questions, so I could get the whole class to turn around, and I would have biltong bags up front, so that I would get them at the end of the class, bro. Because I would make $25 a class. I was like, okay, this is crazy. Like, this
Yeah.
is something I'm learning new about me. And then like she was about it too, and I was like, and then she was getting excited about it. I was like, okay, this is something I've tapped into that I didn't even
Yeah.
know I had.
And what year was that?
This was about
2019.
19, yeah, early
2020.
2019, yeah.
So then during the pandemic, you guys relocated. So what was, so now you're based here in St. Louis,
Yeah.
obviously. So what does like the St. Louis community mean? Because it seems like people are supporting you guys and stuff like that. I mean, what does the St. Louis community mean to you guys?
Oh my gosh, we love it. Like we've even said like this is definitely Biltong Billy's home now for the company because people in St. Louis are so supportive of small businesses. I don't know what it is, but I like St. Louis. I feel like has always been known for that as well, just supporting small businesses and
I mean, just for me coming here, I mean, like I know that a lot of people do this, and you know how it is, man. people can talk negative on St. Louis all they want. I'm just going to tell you straight up, dude. I was here 2015 January, and I can tell you this city and St. Charles, from Cotterville even, like you can go St. Peter's, O'Fallon, all the way down to St. Louis. There is developments going around this
It's
city.
crazy.
And the growth that this city has got over the last 8-9 years is nuts. I mean, the support that the city has from small businesses, the support the small business has from everyone else around the city, to the $1.75 billion deal happening with Paul McKee down in North City.
Right.
We're going to be setting satellites from St. Louis.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a $450 million deal happening down in St. Charles, Clayco deal, right by Maristar. Lindenwood, D1 now, 4,000 students to 6,000. I mean, this is huge, man. So to be, I said this on the news. I said, to be in this moment with a growing city, with a growing product and a new product to the market in this time is so awesome.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
It is.
That's and that's real, and I think that's why STL Bucket List is the way it is
Yes.
because like our whole mission is people, places, and events, and we highlight people here on the podcast like you guys. And right before this, we had a nonprofit that I need to connect you guys with called Food City, and they offer grants for local food manufacturers and stuff
please
like
do
that.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they look for innovation, they look for change, and they were speaking about like urban farms and different things that are happening in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And I always say like St. Louis is a foodie town. Like people all connect over food.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you're
definitely.
from. You're from South Africa. So far, different culture, completely different.
Yep.
And like people can still sit over here and eat, off this plate, and they
buddies.
can taste like it. And like us growing up, like yes, we had the beef jerky when our parents let us buy it. It's so
Right.
expensive.
Yeah.
It's like it was a treat when you got beef jerky.
Right. It
Yeah.
was.
But one thing about your guys' and we even said this in the office when you dropped it off there, is it for one, it's better.
Yeah.
It tastes better. You feel better after you're eating it. There's not all that sodium and all that
Right.
like that weird film over everything
Yep.
and stuff like that. And then it's more tender. When you eat
Way
beef
more
jerky.
tender.
So tell us about how it's grown from 2020 to now. We're looking at going into 2024 now.
Yeah.
You guys are in Straub's. You guys are in. I saw you at United Provisions just recently. Some of the soccer players. So like, tell us about the growth and some of those future plans that you guys have.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because we are in a place where we don't have technically the largest amount of market research behind the product nationwide. We've only had a manufacturer, USDA approved, and a couple facilities since 2017. So you can only imagine if we've only been able to produce this on a mass production level since 2017, we're not going to have much to say, hey, we sell as hard as Jack Links, we sell as hard as Chef Cut. But what we are saying is we're saying, take a look at what we've done in 6 years. 6 years, the product didn't exist. 6 years later, the product's now in Aldi, Walmart, Costco, people like us coming out of college, selling the product in gas stations, retailers, buildings, hospitality groups, you name it. We are trying every avenue possible because the education behind this product is the most important.
Yeah.
Because right now, if we have, which I believe, and I think you believe, we have the healthiest meat snack in the United States.
Yeah.
That is
absolutely.
hands down. I mean, if we take a bag of any bag of jerky and I turn that bag around and we go calorie for calorie, gram for gram, we smash everything on the retail shelves.
I mean, even look at the ingredients on the back of the bag. So there's like
Super-
5
yeah.
on here.
Yeah,
And
salt,
then-
pepper, coriander, and vinegar.
Right.
End of story. That's it. You don't have to sometimes add all these 30, 40 different ingredients just to make a good
For
flavor.
food to be good.
Exactly. So the air drying aspect is where you're getting that softness because we're actually drying it from the inside out. So it sucks all the air out and that actually creates that soft tenderness that you're feeling.
Yeah.
But then the simple ingredients is the salt, pepper, coriander. And then because we air dry it, we don't denature the protein. So we got 30 to 50% more protein in each pack. We have about 30 to 50% more natural creatine because we don't denature the creatine out of it when we add heat. And then we got vitamin B12 that sits in there. So you've actually got the perfect snack for athletes, nutritional people that are just looking for a nutritional meat snack, and then for kids. I mean, this is huge, bro.
It's really good for
So
children.
this is what we want. We need
It
education.
tastes great. And like a lot of
Yeah.
people, we eat stuff that doesn't taste great just because it's healthy. So to have the
Right.
best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I just saw you guys recently at the pitch. Like
Pitch?
they had
Yeah,
you
we're
guys
on
like,
the menu at
Yeah.
the pitch. Yeah.
that's crazy.
They awesome. I mean, that
Yeah, we
place
love
is,
the
and
pitch.
we landed that deal by literally walking in when they were constructing.
Yeah.
They were constructing their building on the corner, and I was actually trying to get into Maggie O'Brien's,
Yeah.
and I was like, what's that? And I like walked across the road. I like met a couple of the managers, and I was like, yo, I've got a couple bags of biltong in the back if you guys want to try it out. And they're like,
Yeah.
bro, we'll definitely put this on the menu. I was
Yeah.
like, sick, dude. I
No,
love that.
it's amazing. And
Yeah.
like the ups and downs. And I think like working with your partner is like you have those ups and downs because
Mm-hmm.
like you were studying, chiropractic, like you guys have this and it's a grind to be in business. I mean,
Yeah, it
you're
is.
not really making money at all. You're always
Your
just
first couple years, you're
reinvesting.
making nothing.
You're
Exactly.
reinvesting all of your money.
Yep.
You're taking big risks. You're
Big
putting
risks.
down
Yeah,
big
really big
deposits. Like
risks.
all the money you made one year, you're like, I'm dumping that plus some into this.
Yes.
So tell us about kind of like your guys' roles and your strengths. So I know that you do like a lot of the social graphics, website and stuff like that, and you sell.
Yeah.
You sell your ass off. out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. I mean but
You
it's
know
because
to-
that's
I mean, I've never met someone with so much drive and hard work as him. So, and I love it though, because like as a wife, I'm like, I know he's always gonna carry
You're gonna
us.
figure it out because
Yeah.
there's nobody else doing it. We have this
Thank
quote:
you.
"If not us, then who? If not now, then when?"
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
nobody out hitting the streets doing this.
That's
The
what he
big
says all
companies
the
are not doing
time.
that. They're
No, they're
sending a
not.
cold email and
Right.
then moving on.
100%.
They're hitting a quota of how many emails they need to send per day. You're
100%.
going and seeing them. Like you told me the story about Straubs. Like you went in there and saw them a bunch and a bunch and a bunch.
2 years ago, I couldn't get into Straubs. We had a terrible time 2 years ago because we had a great product, right? We had the manufacturing, the logistics aspect down, but now we didn't have the packaging because we didn't
Yeah.
have the finances, we didn't have the capital,
Right.
right? You got to wait to grow. So it's like you got to sum up all the
You
money
have
you
to,
can.
you have to have money.
I
to
remember
make
the
money
old bag.
is
You
what I
sent me
always-
one a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You guys
no,
sent me one. And it doesn't matter. The product was still the same, but it was in this like little plastic bag.
Right,
that's the
yeah, and we
thing.
printed off our own little stickers, so
Yeah, I
totally
remember it.
different.
I
Yeah,
remember
look,
and you are right. In a way, this is what I say. If you want to start a business, the initial year and the 1 year, 2 years in, you don't need capital, right? Passion, effort, that's going to get you your first initial sale. But then eventually that seed's going to create a plant and you're going to
Right.
need water. So you're going to need capital at some level. And that's where we were 2 years ago, where we were like, man, we need money. If we don't get capital into this business, we're not going to grow.
Yeah.
And that's when we came up with the packaging early this year. We were like, we need to get new packaging. We need to get official. We need to become professional.
Start
and we need to just
innovating a little more.
go out there on the streets
Yeah.
and just sell the heck out of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we've benefited the most, is because I think people are seeing a young couple hit the streets. We have a simple ingredients. She came up with even the white packaging to simplify
Yeah, I like it a lot.
simplicity
Yeah,
of the ingredients inside,
cleanliness, yeah.
cleanliness of the product, and then just also simple. Like it symbolizes just how simple we are as a business. Like as a business, like we don't have third party this and third party here and a payment company and some third party logistics company that you have to contact. It's us. I drop off. She drops
Yeah.
off. We deliver. You know. So I think that is the simplicity of that. I think people are appreciating. They're like, it's just easy to work with them, and they've got a great product.
Yeah,
So.
and they get behind it. So let's talk about a little bit more about the future of what you guys are building. So, you know, right now this is the first year you're going into the new packaging.
Yeah.
You know, we're outside of this pandemic now, like we're hitting the streets. So like you want to get this all across the world, but like what help do you need like from the St. Louis community, from people listening? Is it more just people talking about it, or is it just getting in front of those right people in those right rooms that you guys need to
it's
be?
definitely both. Yeah, getting in front of the right people. But you know, so far, that's another thing about St. Louis is like people are very willing to help you and give you connection, and that's how we've gotten into even a lot of our stores or got to where we are. It's just from people being really nice and helping us and giving us connections and just making relationships with those people.
Yeah, I mean, we got into the Major League. I mean, we were the snack providers for the Major League team. I mean, the soccer team. This was a very, very big deal for us. And we can't thank Jared Phillips, the conditioning coach for the team, strength and conditioning, sorry, and then Brad Connell, the main head guy. I mean, both South African. What are the chances that they were going to be
Right.
in St. Louis
at this
and then
time.
at the time that I was growing? Unbelievable. Couldn't have planned this any better.
Yeah.
Like, it's
But
little
that's
things
it.
like that.
And yeah, brand awareness, because that's the other thing. Those coaches both happen to be South African and happen to know the product, and they love the product and believe in it. So they're like, oh yeah, our soccer
Which in St.
players.
Louis is like the South African population is not very high.
Right, I
It's
know.
not
So we're
high.
like,
Yeah.
what
It's
are
like I
the
think like
odds of that?
200
It's
people, maybe
crazy.
300.
Yeah.
It's not. I think there's only 127,000 in the whole states.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot. And I'm going to quickly give a little shout out to all the other South African Biltong companies in the United States. You guys are killing it. Everybody's doing fantastic. The one word of advice I do give to all of them: let's become more Americanized with the packaging. I think the
Yeah.
one thing that all Biltong companies can focus more on in America is become more Americanized. Like a great example is this air dried steak. We can't use the word Biltong. Biltong is not going to sell.
Jewel Force.
Yeah, or the word like so. Our
Force.
Slim Jim, we have because we have 11 official languages in South Africa. So a lot of our marketing and advertising is all different languages. So like our Slim Jim is not called Slim Jim. It's not called sausage sticks. It's actually called Druivors. It's a South African.
It's intimidating.
Right.
Nobody wants to
Yeah,
buy it.
It's more like
especially in
nobody wants to
American,
buy
you're like,
that. So
what?
you got to be
Yeah.
very careful with how you pronounce. So what I like to say is keep the South African product authentic inside the bag. Let's make it Americanized on the outside. It definitely sells a lot better.
And then take
Yeah.
people on a journey when they eat the product. And I think that like my advice to you guys, is just keep hustling, because you guys have built this amazing brand. And I remember you messaging us when we had first started, and you were like, "Hey, let me get this product to you. Let me get this product to you." And
I knew
like,
where you guys were headed.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could see it.
Yeah.
I think you guys have good intuition too. I can tell when people are going to kill it.
Yeah.
I can tell when people's passionate in something. I can tell when someone is putting everything on the line versus someone else helping you, and you're not really the only one putting it on the line. I can tell when people are doing something and they're doing something different,
when
and I
you're
like
putting
that.
yourself out there, and even your guys' whole story, getting married in 30 days, people are going to talk about that. Your families are going to talk about that. Your friends are like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? Starting a business, people are embarrassed to start a business. They're scared that what people are going to talk about them. They're like, oh my gosh, you had it so well. You guys could have just been a doctor, whatever. Like, you could have had a safe career. But when you do make it, and you will, it's just a matter of time. It's just a law of attraction. Like, it will happen. It's just, when will it happen?
When will it happen?
And if you just keep doing it, and like I said, like, nobody else is doing it. Being an entrepreneur is a lot easier. And I wouldn't say it's ever easy, but it's a lot easier than people think.
Yes.
Because there's not that many people you're competing against.
I like to add to that. I like to say this. I say it's not as easy as you think.
Yeah.
But it's not as hard as you think at the same time. So many times that happens where I think, man, this is a slam dunk, and it's not that easy. Yeah. And then I'm like, wow, was it so tough? And then there's times where I'm like, man, this deal is going to be so hard to close, getting it bang, 24 hours,
There's
done.
definitely seasons.
There's
There's
seasons.
definitely deals where we were like, oh, we had that in the bag. We for sure.
Yeah, like there's no ways we're
And it
not going to
doesn't come
come
out.
Yeah, or it doesn't
come
work
through.
out for
And you're
some
like,
reason.
how does this not happen?
Right.
But it's like, you got to understand that sometimes working with everyone's not going to make sense.
Yeah.
And you got to find the brands that are going to work with you and where their customer base, it makes sense for them as well.
No,
so
I agree with you. And I just think that, like I said, it's just people that are innovating, people that are changing, and then just taking care of the people that you work with and your customers. They are your number one most important thing, and it's that white glove service.
Right.
Delivering it. Oh, I ran out. I'm going to come drive it to you tonight.
Yes.
We're going to skip our date tonight. We're not going to go out of town. Like, being able to like give up those sacrifices to get those gains and make sure that your customers are taken care of, because there's not that many opportunities.
No, I've even had people tell me to slow down on my deliveries because I'm delivering too fast. Because they're saying now people are going to expect you to deliver on the day or the next day. And it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of true. But I'm like, nah, maybe not. I'll just keep delivering on day, because I'm like, I want people to have my product, man. I just want people to eat it. I want people to
you
taste it.
want to keep your customer service as genuine as you can.
As genuine as I can,
So I wanna wrap up with St. Louis again. So this is the STL Bucket List show. So we created St. Louis Bucket List to highlight our favorite places in St. Louis, our favorite things to do, events, date nights. I want to hear what's on your guys' STL bucket list. So I'll start with you first,
Christmas
Olivia.
version?
Yeah, either one, whatever you want to do. So if you were like gonna do things during, I guess, Christmas or whatever's going on, like, what are some bucket list things that you would say, like, if we're in St. Louis, we're doing this, or what? Or even restaurants too,
My bucket list, I think, would be like, go to Barquet for the day, because we have 2 dogs at home.
So
we love dogs and we love Barquet.
Yeah, Barquet's a vibe.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then, me and Gio were like obsessed with the hill last year. So probably
we went through a phase. I think everybody in St. Louis goes through this phase. You
Yeah.
go through like this 12
It's a journey. You
It's
go
a-
through a journey through time, and
you
like
start on the one side and you end on the
it's
other.
the same
and
hospitality. They hang your coat up. They do all this thing. They put the napkin on you. And
Right,
It's like
yeah.
crazy. It feels like you're in a movie.
and they have gnocchi. There's some Italian restaurants that don't have gnocchi.
I love
and
gnocchi.
I love gnocchi, dude.
I just
and
had
'cause-
it 3 days ago.
Yes,
at,
it's
Casa
amazing.
d'Alfonso and Ritz-Carlton.
Oh, yeah, so
fire.
good.
That's fire. Yeah.
Right now, though, we're just trying to hit up all the Christmas pop-up bars. So
Yeah,
during
Train
the
Shed.
Christmas,
Yep,
Train
we did
Shed's on our
360
little bucket
last
list, and then
weekend. That was
the
fun.
Cottleville
The Cottleville.
Public Schoolhouse.
Public
Yes.
Schoolhouse
That's
is
a
on
really
our
good
list. Yeah.
A lot of fun.
That's
You've
a
got
really
to get
good
down
one.
to that. If you haven't been down to Cottleville or
They
St.
do a
Pete's
lot of
Street,
stuff
it's
over
good.
there. They do a bunch of
Yeah,
stuff. The
they
Christmas
do.
pop-ups are incredible. Like Molly's does a good one in Soulard.
And we just went to 360s a couple weeks ago, and it was so cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
I love 360.
Anytime on the rooftop there, you just feel like you're in a different city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you feel like it. So what about like date night spots? Like, what's a good foodie spot that you guys go to?
What is a good one? We go to so
We
many.
eat a lot of Italian, I feel
You guys
like.
try a lot of
do.
new spots.
We
Like-
do. We try and, like, I personally try and do a new spot at least once a month. Like, I try and be like, yo, we haven't been to this Mediterranean, we haven't been to this Italian, like, we haven't been to this Irish. I like the pitch. I mean, the pitch has Irish, Italian, South African food. I mean, there's a lot of
Yeah.
spots that have these different countries all in one place. Man, what's a good one? What would you recommend for, like, a really, what's
like one that you keep in your rotation where you're like, I'm going
Oh, it's
here.
we're going back.
Probably one of the
ones on the
places on the hill.
I know.
feel
I
like.
love what's that sandwich place we always go to?
Adriana's.
Yeah, no, I think
I never know
Joyous?
how to.
Joyous.
Yeah,
yes.
We
Oh,
love
The hot salami?
Yeah.
The hot
yes.
salami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
My
hot-
favorite spot's Gito's. Gito's, the arancinis or
Yep.
arancinis. And then their two tomorrow pasta, Gito's is good, Zia's is good, Adriana's
Zia's
is
is
awesome.
awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
so good.
But yeah, the Hill is like, we take these neighborhoods for granted of like this culture that's
Right,
lived in
yeah.
St. Louis, this Italian culture that's been here for so long. And then
So
you
long.
pop right over across Hampton, and then you're in Dogtown.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then you go to Lafayette Square, and you go to Molly's, and you go to all these places
Yep.
in Soulard that
Mhm.
you're in this French district.
Yep.
And then I was just talking to these people earlier about the diversity of food that we have. And we're in the middle of the U.S. Usually you're going to have that in New York,
Right.
Atlanta,
Yes.
Miami,
Yeah.
Yes.
all that. We have Brazil, we have Samim Afghan, which
Mhm.
is in the Grove, which is unbelievable. We could talk about food all
You got a
day.
lot of
I
African
know.
food too.
Yeah.
Like there's like even
Yeah.
the big African festival that comes every year.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and be that
Yeah,
next
which-
year,
that would be
which will
really
be
cool,
awesome. But
yeah.
they have tremendous amounts of African
Yeah.
food down here.
What would you tell people, as we wrap up, what would you tell people on why they should choose your jerky? And then at the end, just tell them where to find it, how they can follow you guys and stuff like that.
Yeah. The personal reason, I think the main reason why you want to try Biltong Billy is because I think everybody, if you're into meat snacks, you want to look for the healthiest option. I think everybody's trying to look, I think just in general, the healthy industry, everybody's trying to look for that healthier option, the less sugars, the less carbs, the more protein, the more creatine, whatever you need naturally that's good for your body. Then this is the place to go. If you're an athlete, this is the place to go. If you are someone trying to just grow in general, this is the place to come. I mean, it's just what it is. We've got a great snack. We've got 3 flavors. We're looking at 4 come the end of the year. And if you're looking for places to go, please go visit our website on www.biltongbilly.com. You can check us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. We're on everything, YouTube. And then we do have local stores. So we're in all 4 Straub stores, Clayton, Town and Country, Webster, and St. Louis. We do have United Provisions as well. I think they're on Delmar as far as I remember.
Yep.
They're a famous grocery store as well. They're awesome. They got so many Japanese and Chinese food. It's
It's a trip going in
unbelievable.
there. It's
It
crazy.
is a trip. And
Yeah.
and the WashU students that support that place is awesome. We're in the pitch too. So if you go check us on the menu,
Yeah.
it's great. I love the pitch. It's an Italian, Irish, South
Yeah.
African menu. It's
Great
really cool.
food.
Taste it. Steak sandwich. It's
So good.
the
So
chef's really good at
And they
making
have
that
like
steak.
so many TVs. You can watch like every
Yeah.
game.
Any
literally
sport at any
game.
given moment, anytime. So if you want to watch pickleball in India
Yeah.
at 2:00 in the morning, you can do it.
Yeah.
Like it's really cool. Like
Yeah.
you can literally watch it whenever you want.
Yeah. And then we recently got into Marcella's, which is our only non-St. Louis location. It's in
Yeah.
St. Charles. It's in Newtown.
Newtown.
So it's their
That's
little
cool.
grocery store.
They have a
but-
grocery store in Newtown.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then we are associated with some big retailers. Like we've got Flick USA. They owned by Compass Group. They're a big hospitality group. They were the ones that got us into the stadium. They were the ones that got us into Bayer Pharmaceuticals. So we're feeding all the employees
Yeah.
in the Major League Soccer, Bayer Pharmaceuticals. And they got partnerships of 9,000 associates. I mean, these guys are working with NBA, they're working with NHL.
They're
So we've got
huge.
customers of our own that we can, start to talk to and say, hey, we've done some good business with you guys. What more can we do? So,
Yeah.
we're also looking at the Olympic team right now. We have the Olympic soccer team talking to us,
Yeah.
saying, hey, we heard, because they actually came here
Yeah.
and
I remember that.
and they gave us a huge shout out and they said, hey man, I think you should look at the snack for the players. So that's also pending for us going into the 2024 season. So
Yep.
there's a lot going on for us. And we've also just found out that retailers now are entering into apartments, hotels.
Oh, yeah.
If you go look at the luxury apartments in St. Louis, they all have grab and goes at the bottom. There's 1 or 2 companies that are running the show. We found that there's retail opportunity there. So there's a lot of space.
Yeah.
That's the one
There's a
thing that I
lot of
like about
space.
retail products.
Yeah.
Is that there's so much
Yeah.
that you can go. You can tap into any.
And we're
market.
hoping to like really kind of take off and grow in 2024.
Cool.
So
Yeah, you will.
Yeah,
You
no,
will.
we definitely will.
100%. I mean, I can just see it in what you guys are doing. I mean, it's just getting into, like you said, the scalability of it is insane. Like you have like 0.10001% of the market right now, and just to
Right.
climb up into that 1% of the market, then the 5%,
Yeah.
and then as those products, and like we're seeing it already, like people are not feeding their kids these products anymore. Like some
No.
of these older products that
Yeah,
aren't
no,
healthy.
Yeah.
Like
They're realizing that
I'm
this
looking at
is-
stuff already, and I'm about to be a dad, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to that place. Like definitely not going to that fast food restaurant.
When
I'm not
do
going
you
to that
like?
place.
Do you guys remember any time like when we were kids, like when like your parents used to turn packets around and look at them? Like never. My parents never.
They
did
just had
this.
trust.
They just had trust in the system
Yeah.
that hey, like
I
this
think
this
we're
was going
starting
to
to
be.
find out more.
Yeah,
what
like
we're
they were like,
putting in
yo,
our
this is a great
bodies
product. But
is
it's like, no,
not
like we
good.
genuinely
Yeah.
have a great product. And I think the one great thing that I want to also like mention is that it's like we not just, there's so many companies out here that are just selling you on something. And the cool thing, and this is what keeps me motivated personally, is that I'm not selling you on something like that I'm not benefiting you. Like I'm actually honestly giving you an honest sell. Like we have got the healthiest meat snack in the United States. End of. It is just that simple. If you look for ingredients, if you look at the ounces, if you look at the grams, you look at the protein content, you look at all this, we are on the top of the shelf.
Yep.
And that's what I'm selling. And because it's such an honest sell, it's actually benefits us because we're not lying to anybody.
Yeah, it's easy.
love it.
It's easy at that point. It's easy to sell stuff you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Gio, Olivia, I appreciate you guys for taking the time.
Yep.
Thank you so
I know we've been
much.
trying to make this happen for a minute, but we made it happen right in time
Yes.
for the holidays. We're going to hit those Christmas bars up. But these people, can they buy this on your website? They can get it shipped to them as well? And
Yes.
stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, all local deliveries we'll deliver ourselves. So, and then
So if you're local to St. Louis,
Please.
order on the website right now. We don't have a promo code, doesn't matter, but order on the website and you guys are going to like pull up to their house. Are you going to knock on the door? Are you going to knock on the
bro,
door?
I do it all.
Maybe.
I try and
It's
speak to
usually
people.
like
I
a
see
little
everything.
mailbox.
Yeah. Knock on the door,
Put in
talk
a
to them.
special
Hey, how'd you hear about
request.
us? No, that's real though. I used to do
Yeah.
that when we were selling T-shirts. I love delivering to people's houses.
love it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
good to see where your customers live at too,
Yeah.
just so you can get a better idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for coming on again. And STL Bucket List guys, we'll see you guys next week.
Today they rep St. Louis, yeah. They rep St. Louis. They rep St. Louis.